Good morning, Nacogdoches. Welcome to our Easter at the Coliseum, the 21-day devotion countdown. My name is Pastor Noel, and today is day 11, March the 30th. I want to invite you today to begin by reading Matthew 18, verses 1 through 20. And when you've finished that, turn to our devotion page and go through our 3-2-1 Easter countdown prayer. Now, let me give just a brief overview of what you're going to read today. The first 20 verses of Matthew 18, Jesus covers a lot of material, and I'll just mention the highlights. He talks about what it means to be great in the kingdom of heaven. Then he warns us about the danger of influencing other people to sin. Then he talks about the seriousness of sin, and he does so with in a very graphic way. Then he provides a parable. He teaches a parable, the parable of the lost sheep. Now, this parable sounds very similar to one that he teaches in the book of Luke, but it's a different parable and it has a different meaning. Here, Jesus is emphasizing the truth that he loves us specifically, individually. I'll say more about that in a moment. And then finally, Jesus talks about what we should do when a fellow Christian sins or is struggling with sin. Now, as I did my devotion on this passage, the one big thing that stood out to me was something in this little parable, the parable of the lost sheep, that we read in verses 12 and 13, and 14 is really part of that. But let me just read those first two verses. Verse 12, what do you think? If someone has 100 sheep and one of them goes astray, won't he leave the 99 on the hillside and go and search for the stray? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he rejoices over that sheep more than over the 99 that did not go astray. Now, this parable teaches us a number of very important things, but I'm just going to highlight one. The one I think the Lord highlighted for me today, the Spirit highlighted as I read this today. Here it is. God does not love us generally. God loves us specifically. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I love the people who live in Fort Worth, Texas, generally. I care about their well-being. I would be saddened to hear that someone in Fort Worth today had endured a calamity or faced some tragedy. I generally love the people in Fort Worth, but I specifically love my daughter who lives in Fort Worth. I don't just have a general love for her, but I am specifically concerned about her. I love her. I am concerned about her future. I'm concerned about how her day is going today. I'm concerned about her health. I'm concerned about every little part of her life because my love for her is not general. I love the people. I care for the people in Fort Worth. It is very specific. Well, in this parable, we see Jesus pictured in this shepherd who has a large flock of sheep. One goes astray, and he doesn't say, well, I love the sheep generally, and he goes on with the ones who have remained. He said, no, I love the sheep specifically, and I'm going to go after the one. That one is important to me. Listen, God doesn't just love me generally. God loves me specifically. God's concerned about the things that burden my heart today. God is concerned about my future. God is concerned. God is focused. God cares about me specifically and you specifically. And I hope that's an encouragement to you today. I hope you're praying for our Easter at the Coliseum event, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow.